Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Yellow Room podcast. I hope that everyone is doing exceptionally well. And if you're not, I'm praying for you. But anyway, today's topic is about cash and culture. I'm going to be discussing how you should be grounded in your finances. The overall purpose, and as always, my intent is to empower you to be the best version of yourself. But the overall purpose of this episode is for me to help you get your heart out of your money and to help you get your mind set to your money. I think that how should I even say this? I'm so frustrated that so many people, not so many people, I'm very frustrated that financial literacy is not emphasized as it should be. I'm 25 years old, and some things with money, like I just wish that I would have learned earlier on in life. Like, granted, it's not too late, or it wasn't too late for me to start viewing my money differently. But yeah, so it's never too late, essentially, is where I'm going. But I want to talk about this whole issue of people thinking that, the more money that I have, the less problems I'll have. I will be the first to tell you that that is not true. I know people who make six figures but are over their head in debt, and they can't sleep at night because they're not living comfortably. Whereas I know people who are responsible, and let's say they make a third of six figures a year, but they manage what they have so they can live a little more comfortable. And statistics actually show that most people who win the lottery, and I mean hit big, they're broke within 2 years. So what does that say? That says that if you're a fool with little money, you get some more money, you can be an even bigger fool. Essentially, that's what that's saying. So it's not an issue of getting money and acquiring it and how much you can get. The issue is what you do with it once it's in your hand. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I'm going to bring the Bible into this conversation. So if that's not your cup of tea, not to be rude, maybe this episode just isn't for you. But because I don't know about your Bible, but my Bible, it talks about money more than it talks about anything else. Because I'd be a fool to believe, and you would too, that God called us to be great in this life, but to be broke. He did not put things on our heart and give us this great vision and not give us the resources to fund it. But what's important is what we do with the resources that he's provided. I'm going to go ahead and read Ecclesiastes 10:19. And what it says is that a feast is made for laughter, wine makes life merry, and money is the answer for everything. I'm going to repeat that last part. Money is the answer for everything. I think a lot of times people equate miracles to money, but that's not necessarily the case. I can bet that most of the things that you're wishing for or praying for, it can be erased with a check, right? But essentially, you don't necessarily need a miracle. You need money. And yes, money is spiritual. So I'm taking it there. If there's a thing, money can be the answer. Your rent or mortgage payment is a thing. Your car payment is a thing. Funeral expenses, they are a thing. And let me just go off on a side note on that. It is very frustrating to see all of these GoFundMe accounts for funerals. And this is not me trying to downplay anyone's financial circumstances. This is just me saying that a GoFundMe account is not an insurance policy. I don't think people realize that. Scratch that. I'm willing to bet that these people who are, we don't plan our death. I would hope not. I hope you're not planning your death, but we can go at any moment, right? But I can almost bet that the same people who didn't have life insurance, I'm pretty sure they're leaving behind debt. That's debt that's going to be that'll impact your children and grandchildren and great grandchildren. I don't know about you, but I'm trying to leave behind a legacy. Like, I'm in business of doing and creating generational wealth for my great grandchildren's children. Like, I'm trying to be the catalyst for generational wealth for me and my family. But anyway, that's my first tangent of today's episode. What money can't buy you is love and respect and feeling content. Like that, those are things that money can't buy, but the others money can buy. Like, we have to start thinking of money as a defense, because it technically is. Like, wisdom is a defense. Like, when you're wise, you save yourself a lot of trouble, right? But when you're wise with your money, you save yourself money. So I think that moving forward, we need to be a little more intentional about what we say yes to, and people who we trust our money with. Like, when you have money and you're wise with it, you can get more reputation. You have better access to better health care and schooling and choices, and you can afford to pay for your funeral, and you don't need GoFundMe's for your needs. And let's say if there's, someone in your family, God forbid, gets sick and you need to travel to go see them, money gives you access to purchase that plane ticket or purchase that rental car for you to get there and be present. It is not God's will for his children to have to ask for help every time we want to do something. And I do not believe that the devil will take better care of his kids than God will with his. Whatever God orders, he can pay for. But the issue is not the money. It's him trusting us it's him trusting what we will do with that money. Think about all that God's giving you, like your vision, your children, your husband, your wife. What do you need? Your household, like, what do you need to keep all of those things going? It's money. Like, it's important. And for so many people, they're like, oh, like, God doesn't give me money, or he has nothing to do with it. It's me who take my long commute to work, or it's me who went through, school, and it's me who went through those rounds of tough interviews. But let me just tell you, you're wrong, because it's God that gave you the IQ to be able to obtain your education. And it's God that wakes you up early every morning for that long commute. And it's God that helps you withstand your annoying coworkers and all of the other craziness that's in your workplace, so that you can acquire your salary. Or a Bible verse that's been placed on my heart that I do want to discuss is Luke 12:48. And essentially what it says is that to whom much is given, much is required. So the more resources you have, it requires an even bigger level of responsibility. If you can't manage the little that you have now, like, why are you asking for more? Clearly, it's not an issue of us getting more money. Getting a lot of money does not cure what causes us to not have it in the first place. It's our culture. Our environment embrace our culture. Like, your family is a culture, your religion is a culture, your friends group is a culture. Your habits are formed by culture. Let's take it out of money real quick. Let's talk about our eating habits or our health habits. Like, I don't know about you, but I was not raised in a household where my parents walked around and delight eating celery sticks and carrot sticks, like, for pleasure. Like, that was not it. Like, my mom's family is from the dirt roads of Wilson, North Carolina, like the country, and they were raised on some good soul food, some greasy food, some delicious food. So, growing up, that's what my mom cooked, and I mean, it was great. Like, I was not raised in a household where my mom's like, hey, wake up everybody, like, we're taking a trip to the gym, like, let's go run a mile. Like, no, that absolutely did not happen. The only running we did was to the kitchen table when there was some good food on that table and we ran our mouth. That's the only running we did. And even like, think about it. Like when you go to the doctor, why in the heck do you think your doctor's asking about your grandmother's health? Like, oh, was your grandmother diabetic? Did your grandmother have such and such? It's because the likelihood of people who came before you, their health habits and things like that, you're more likely to have those same illnesses and ailments. Not saying that you're claiming it, but that's where it's coming from. In that same light, a lot of our financial habits are the same. Like they're developed in the same way. Like I was not raised in a household where, a financial portfolio was discussed or stocks and investments. Like that was not ever discussed. Like honestly, the first time I heard of a financial portfolio was when I was like 19 or 20 in college. I was around some Caucasian friends. And, I didn't want to be ignorant in the moment and be like, what's a financial portfolio? So, I Googled it. It's my best friend. And I'm like, wow, like, wonder how they know about all of these things and how they have all of these investments. It's because that's what they were raised around. That was their norm. And, it's not until I immersed myself around different people who didn't necessarily have the same upbringing in me, when these things became a financial portfolio became important to me, stocks and investments became important to me. Growing up, like there is no doubt about it. Both of my parents had some serious work ethic. Like my dad, before he retired, he was getting up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, going to work, and sometimes getting home at 7 to 8 at night. Like no doubt about it, they worked hard. And at one point my mom had 3 jobs at one time. So don't get me wrong, I knew what hard work looked like. And I remember my mom will always say, like, you work hard, you got to have something to show for it. And I mean, part of that, I can see some truth in that. But what I, growing up, what I thought was hard work, or, you actually making it, is when you have new cars and you have nice clothes and you have nice shoes and you got the latest this and latest that. But in reality, most people who are going after all of that stuff on a consistent basis, they might, wear nice things, but I bet you their bank account is empty. Like that's not really what's important. So let me just go on a history lesson really quick. So for us African Americans, we were the first people to come to this country and essentially say, we'll work for food, which is slavery, right? Like you had to eat to stay alive. Like you're gonna pick this cotton and you're gonna get your meal. Like, and if you don't want to, then you'll get beat or you'll die. So essentially, food was our survival, right? So it's essentially work or die. All those years passed by. When we finally got free from slavery, we entered into an economical system for which we had no generational training. So again, what do you do when you get money, but you're not used to having it? You spend it, and you spend it foolishly. So what happened as a result of that? A generational curse of excessive spending and no savings. Like we've developed a culture that tells you to buy everything you want and beg for everything you need. Like it has to stop. Here's another one of my tangents. Like I cannot get over this whole getting on social media and seeing children with designer shoes on, and I'm like, you know what? These kids, like I saw a kindergartner with Gucci on and I'm so confused. I'm like, this child probably wants some light up shoes. He don't care about no Gucci shoes. Like I can bet you that his parents does not have 1 penny set aside for this child going off to college. Like the priorities are just not right. Like I think so many people are caught up on looking blessed, but actually not being blessed. Like we have to start compromising looking blessed until we actually accomplish being blessed. And that requires us being it before anyone else sees it. So we have to start considering our ways. Like, you can work yourself to death, do all the overtime that you want or that you desire, and still have nothing, and still have no financial backing or stability. When you are truly blessed, you work a lot less and you have more time to rest and actually enjoy life. So we need to start bringing our emotions out of our spending. We need to bring our emotions out of our spending and bring mindfulness into how we handle our money. Because out of your heart flows the issues of your life. So all of those cultural issues are coming through your decisions with how you spend money. And therefore, these cultural issues, they inform our worldviews, and they tell us what we should care about and how we should look and how we should buy this and how we should do this and that. And it's dysfunctional. So we need to start switching up our approach from a more emotional, approach of handling our money to a more intellectual. And when we do this, we erase that dysfunctional spending, and we erase spending money to look important, and we erase spending money to impress people that don't care about us and don't matter. All of that just gets you in debt. So when we bring our mind into our money management, we become intentional about it. And once we become intentional about how we manage our money, we are more intelligent. And that allows us to prioritize things without our emotional issues being a factor. And this allows us to bring our debt down and our profit up. God wants us to maximize everything that He gives us. Think about it. As parents, I'm not a parent, but if you are a parent, think about it. You buy your child, let's say, an iPad, right? They get this iPad and they just start throwing it around and, just being careless with it, really not showing that they truly value what's been given to them. Are you likely to turn right back around and spend more money? No, your next step is probably getting them to understand and value all the things that your hard-earned money has provided them. And we have to start thinking about everything that God's given us from that same standpoint, that same light. And next, we need to remove the feelings out of our spending and actually start focusing on the facts. Create a budget. Look at everything that's factual. You have to do this and you have to pay for that. Those are the facts. Manage your budget and create your budget around that. Remove the feelings. Bump oh, I want to do this and I want to do that. Those are feelings. So it's facts over feelings when it comes to money management. And just a few takeaways that I want you to be thinking about, moving forward with your money management, because I want us all to just be better. I want us to handle our money better because I think that you can do it. Absolutely. So first things first, create and stick to your budget by any means. Number 2, plan purchases in advance. Stop spending impulsively. Trust me, I've been there. 19, 20-year-old Nika, I was mismanaging money. I don't even want to talk about it. But let's just say you give me $5,000 back then. I'm going on a shopping spree. I'm going on a trip. You give me $5,000 now, you better believe that I'm going to invest it. I'm going to look for ways to flip it, to have an even bigger return. I'm glad that I grew from that phase of my life. Number 3, leave your credit cards at home. Stop accumulating debt. And I can go on and on and on about that, but go back and listen to my previous episode. It's Level Up, Decreasing Debt. It's great. That's all I'm going to say about that one. Number 4, stop comparing your life to others. So many people, I think, are so caught up on what everyone else is doing, what everyone else is buying, where everyone else is going, that they just have to do it too. Stop, let go of that. Comparison is the killer of contentment. You don't know someone else's financial situation. These same people that you're glorifying, oh, they're doing this, they're doing that, they can be just as broke and jacked up as who knows. Like, you don't know. Like, they could be, posing and looking a certain way and looking like they have it all together, and you never know. Like, they can be screaming in debt and on the verge of bankruptcy. So stop comparing your life to everyone else's. And lastly, think about your grandchildren's children. Stop living in the moment. Like, we have to take control over our finances, and we have to stop leaving behind all of this debt. And we need to start setting everyone that's coming after us, we need to set them up. Like, set them up for success when it comes to finances, because guess what? Other cultures do it, but I'm gonna stop right there. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's show, and I truly hope that it empowers you to, have a different approach with money and stop allowing, these false realities to influence how you manage your money. See you all next week. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my podcast by whatever platform you listen to. So I am currently on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and the Podbean app. So please go ahead and like and subscribe. And lastly, share with a friend. Like, tell a friend to tell a friend to hear me out. And if you agree with what I say, leave a comment, rate me. Please do that. And if you don't agree, I'm open to whatever you have to say as well. Like, we can talk. Anyway, have a great week and be great.